Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they have to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this show on Podomatic, you can also listen on iTunes. You can listen on Spotify and iHeartRadio, among other platforms that you can find this show. So that you can find those links on womenentrepreneursecrets.com. You can go there under the podcast link in the menu, and it'll give you links directly to those platforms. Or if you're already on those platforms, you can do a search for Women Entrepreneurs Radio, and you could find the show, and I hope you do. And also, if you're on iTunes in particular, if you could leave a review when you've listened, that would be great. Very helpful for the show to be found by more listeners, the more reviews. So that'd be very helpful if you could do that. And you could also visit my website, thebaileycoach.com, to find out more about me and my books and book coaching that I offer, particularly for other coaches who want to write books. And you can come to my fiction website, brightstreetbooks.com, to find out more about my fiction books. So there's other places that you can check out things I'm doing. So we're going to get started today with a returning guest and a friend of mine I've known for, I can't say how many years now, but Sharon Levy, and she's the founder of Taking Tea in Style, and she's also a TV show host. And that's just two of the many things that she does. So I'm just going to let her fill us in on what she's been doing and all the life transitions going on, because I think that would be best for her to share with you where her journey is taking her now. So welcome to the show, Sharon.
Thank you, Deb. I'm so glad to be back.
Yes, very happy for you to be back. It's been a long time, actually. So this is really, really good to have you here and talk about what's going on with you. But if you could just share a bit about your company or, your entrepreneurial pursuits right now, because I know there's a lot going on. And we could just really share with the listeners how you are doing all these things and really also, juggling a few challenges.
Yes. So Taking Tea in Style I'm the founder, and I actually love my company, Taking Tea in Style. We have been around for a little over 9 years, and we started out doing tea parties. We then went on to doing social etiquette and dining skill workshops, and then I got certified in tea and started doing tea wellness seminars. And so I would say about a year ago, I started thinking how I really want to get more into the wellness. And so I said, let me start doing some tea meditation. And then right after that, I would say 2 months later, I went to the doctor and got diagnosed with rectal cancer. And that just totally blew me out of the water. I never felt sick. And just hearing those words, cancer, I can't even say I was sad, but I was just a little shocked. As much as you hear about so many people getting it, it's always you know, you don't think it's going to happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happened, I just really prayed. I prayed to God to help get me through it. And, you know, I made a decision to not go the traditional way of doing chemo and radiation after they removed the cancer. And that in itself was very nerve-wracking because, you know, you have family members, friends that really are trying to talk you out of going the holistic way.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, again, traditional things are easier than if you do something that's not in the norm.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a big challenge to try to do what it is that you believe in and then try to also satisfy people that you love as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself made it very challenging for me,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it really, though, made me take a look at myself and say, well, did I cause any of this? And just from doing a lot of the research, you know, from reading books, going online, watching YouTube, talking to people, you know, you start to wonder, you know, where did I go wrong? You know, there's some things that I know I wasn't doing right. So as an entrepreneur, you know, we all work extremely hard, nonstop, almost 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one thing. Burning myself out was not a good thing, and I knew it. You know, people said, oh, you need to sleep, and I was like, oh, I can't sleep, I got to work, I got to do, and it just, you know, that's a big thing that I think has affected me in this whole cancer thing. So I just think that entrepreneurs really need to take a moment and look at, really assess their health as an entrepreneur, because it can be so affected from us working too hard and being stressed out and taking on too much. We really have to take time to pause. You know, Deb? Yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree
So
with that. That's so true, because people put so much into building a business and all of that you're really ambitious for, and you could really end up pushing yourself to the point where you just don't nourish yourself properly.
right.
You know.
Yeah. And as much as, you know, I was telling people the tea wellness and you know, taking time for self, even though I did do my tea meditation and do my drinking tea, that wasn't enough. Your body needs to rest. I mean, literally rest and get the proper sleep that you need. So that's something that I wasn't doing. And then because I worked from home, I did a lot of sitting. So even though on occasions I go party with my girlfriends, that just was not enough movement. So the lack of movement also causes problems. And also, you know, you start gaining weight when you're working till 2 a.m. You may be snacking, which I was snacking sometimes just to stay up, or, you know, you get bored from being up. Even if it's something that you have to do, you might be a little bored, so you're snacking on things. And, you know, those are things that are all keys towards getting certain types of diseases. It just so happened that I got cancer. And when you're not checking yourself, like I love sweets. I really was addicted to sweets. You know, that sugar thing is another huge thing that causes so many health ailments. I mean, so many diseases are caused from the sugar, because when the sugar is broken down in your body, then it becomes, you know, mucus and all other kinds of things that's going on in your body with that sugar breaking down. So, you know, we really have to watch our diet and getting the exercise and the rest and the proper nutrition that we need. And, you know, that's really my new passion, is a passion for health. The whole complete mind, body, and spirit is totally important, especially for entrepreneurs who are running their business. You know, it's really to your detriment if you're not going to do that. You have to really assess everything that you're doing in terms of your health to make sure that it's on point. And so that's my new passion, is to inspire people to check themselves
Right.
and make sure that they are living that holistic lifestyle.
Mhm. So you have, as we were talking before, you've gone through a few physical transitions from
Mhm.
and changes that you're making for your health. What are some of those things that you're doing right now that you've decided now's the time to really take care of yourself?
Yes. So, once I saw the actual picture of the polyp, I was
Mm.
blown away, and I was like, oh my goodness. Just to say it out loud, it was not pretty.
Mhm.
And so that just put me into I have to do this now. There's no tomorrow. I decided to go total plant-based.
Mhm.
Now, I was already eating, I was kind of a vegetarian, but I don't like to say that because I was still eating meat on occasion, chicken on occasion, fish
Mhm.
on occasion. I wasn't drinking milk, but I did have ice cream. But I totally went cold turkey and said, nope, plant-based. And I also went cold turkey and stopped having sugar. No
Mhm.
sugar at all, no refined sugars at all. I've started working out, walking, and also drinking a lot of water. A lot of times we don't drink water. I
Mhm.
drank tea a lot, but I really increased the water intake as well because
Mhm.
what happens is if you don't take enough water, then you're not going to get to flush out a lot of the toxins through your body. You're not going to get a lot of oxygen moving, a lot of your joints and your brain and all of these things need to be cushioned by the water. And so
Mhm.
I know they say that you should drink like 8 glasses a day, but to be a little bit more custom for people, they say whatever your weight is divided by 2, and that's how much water you should be drinking. So
Mhm.
the water intake is very important in your health as well.
Mhm.
Um, but definitely also I'm doing more sincere praying and a lot more meditation and building up my spiritual health. Because
Mhm.
for me, I think spirituality is number one. Because I think if you are a believer in God, then you need to have a good relationship with Him. And then with that, I started reading my Bible much more than I did before, so that when I read my Bible now, it's keeping me grounded because, the world is so busy, so hectic, and there's so much going on in the world, a lot of crazy stuff, bad
Right.
things happening in the world. And so I think reading the Bible just puts everything in perspective and lets you know that there is something bigger and better coming. And so it
Mhm.
just helps you to try to walk in a better way, just to be a better person.
Right.
And then I think once you can be a better person, then you can be a better person to others as well. But it starts with
Mhm.
self. You
Yes.
have to really be a better person and go deep within, know what your purpose is, build that relationship with God, and then from there, you can now have that strength to change the mindset. The mindset is one of the hardest things to change.
Yeah.
You know, some
That's
people
true.
are sick. I've spoken to people, I've spoken to people, Deb, that are sick with different types of disease. And then when I ask them, have you thought about just not doing something, whether it's they're drinking soda or they're eating fried foods or whatever it is that is messing them up, whether they're diabetic. And a lot of people don't want to make the change. They'll say, oh, no, I can't. And I find if
Mhm.
you say you can't, you definitely won't. But,
Mhm.
I think people, if you're really serious about your health and you don't want the pain, then you have to really um, buckle down and just say, I got to do this, and you got to do it for me.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
some of the story that I'm trying to now inspire people to make the change and put their health first instead of putting it off till tomorrow or make excuses about their jobs and their kids and all these other things. But really taking a look and making that change and just saying I can, just like anything else that they put their mind to, better jobs, bigger houses,
Yes.
it's the same thing for your health.
Mhm. That's very
So,
true. And I think since there's so much in terms of being an entrepreneur, a lot of times, as we were saying, there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves, and then you feel like you always have to be doing something, and there's always more to do, and then you start to feel you're not doing enough, and before you know it, you've gone over the edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's how I was. That's why I used to stay up late. I'm like, oh, I still have all this to do. Yes. And I know, people say tomorrow's another day, but you feel like I go to bed and my brain is still going. Tick, 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 tick. It just would not shut down. And so that stress does really cause health ailments. For real. People don't understand how serious that stress level causes so many diseases out there as well. So it's a lot of things. It's not just one thing, it's a conglomerate of things that are building up and making the body sick. And the worst part for me, Deb, was I did not feel sick. I think that's the worst part for someone. If you don't feel sick, then you keep going, and so that's when you really have to look at your body and then listen to it, no matter what it is, no matter how small it is, how small it is. And for me, I did have like a little inclination that something was going on, but I thought, oh, it's just a little bleeding that was happening every 3-4 months. And I kept brushing it off. Oh, it's probably hemorrhoids, and, just didn't pay attention. Then after like the third or fourth time, I said, it might be small, but something has got to be wrong, because now this is like the third or fourth time. So you have to listen to that body, no matter how small it is, and get it checked, because that makes a huge difference.
Right.
Huge
That's
difference.
True. Yeah, and I think another thing also that, based on what you're saying, is a lot of times you may not even realize that you're not feeling good, because you're so used to being run down or not sleeping and not eating right, that becomes the norm. That feeling becomes a normal thing, because I know when I was, as we both were in IT, and when I was working as a developer, and I remember when I was commuting to New York, and that was like a 2-hour commute one way, and it was a long hours, and it was stressful. And I remember going to a doctor and taking a blood test, and she was like alarmed because the readings looked totally off. And I went to another doctor and just kind of checked it, because he said sometimes things aren't, how they come back isn't accurate, all that and this. But I knew that all the hours we were putting in, and the kind of food we were eating, the whole thing was to the point where I didn't even feel that was odd to not feel good. You just take it for granted that you're always run down, and everybody you're working with is run down, or always complaining, and always unhappy, and always stressed. And then you take that as a norm, and then you don't even realize, wait a minute, this isn't normal. And what is it doing to me? You don't see that. And I think a lot of times, particular people who have their own business, and if they're also doing other work, which I myself am doing, then you really don't, you take yourself for granted so you can keep going, but you don't give yourself what you really need.
Right. That's very true. So my new message is just to tell people, no matter who they are, but since I'm an entrepreneur, my message is especially for them as well. Is for them to slow down, make sure that you're going to the doctor when you're supposed to. Get that yearly checkup, get that blood work. The A1C is going to check your blood to make sure your glucose is right, and all these other areas within the body is right. And when, a lot of times you don't really know. Again, you don't feel sick. Like my sugar also was a little high. I was really pre-diabetic. But once I changed my diet, Deb, my glucose had just dropped really well.
Wow.
I went from about a 97 to about a 79 or 78. And that was from me completely eliminating no refined sugar. Like from, I think my birthday, November 5th, I may have had a little drop of some cake that my daughter bought for me. And that was it. I have not had any refined sugar since then. I think I've lost about 40 pounds. And I feel really good. I feel more energetic. I'm going to bed early than I was before, even though I still can go to bed even earlier, but I feel good that I've been going to bed earlier. And all of those different steps that I've taken, I'm feeling much more energized. I feel lighter. My stamina is up now because I've been walking and, going to the gym and things like that. Going outside, getting fresh air. It's so important instead of just, walking inside, walking outside. A lot of times people go to the gym, but they don't understand fresh air is critical as well. Walking in the sunlight is also very good, especially those that are eating plant-based. Because a lot of times you're not getting some of the nutrients because you're not eating any meat and fish and things like that. So you get the D3 through the sun, and so you really have to try to go outside more and get some of that sunlight and the fresh air when you're going to walk. Really crucial. But yeah, so
that's true.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense that you really have to do those things. So how has it been to, for instance, give up sugar? How has that felt for you to make that kind of change?
Well, you know what? I don't even miss it. I'm not going to say that I don't ever crave something a little sweet, but I don't crave eating any of the stuff that I was eating. So I would say there is a health food store like 2 blocks from me, and they do have like vegan stuff. And so for me, it's not even just eating plant-based. Like I don't just say like I'm just plant-based. I'm healthy plant-based because I read every single word on the back of everything I buy. And it's not just the food I'm putting in my mouth. No, really. And some people could say it might be excessive. And hey, maybe because I've had the cancer, why I feel like I have to be excessive, because everything, and I'm looking at it as someone in science, down to the cell level of everything that I eat. Yes, we all are going to go to the bathroom and waste is going to come out, but a lot of that goes into our cells to make new cells. So everything to me is important, what I put in my mouth or on my body, because all of that is going to eventually be in my cell to then produce, more cells. And so I want to make sure that whatever I'm eating is good, healthy stuff that's not going to then produce more, bad genes or whatever you want to call it. So, I'm really very serious and focused on everything that I eat now, down to not even eating as much oil. Like, even though I eat a lot of good oil, like olive oil and coconut oil and things like that, I don't put as much as I used to, again, because I'm trying to eat clean. And I basically, without even knowing it, I started doing 80% raw, 20% cooked. And I really feel good about it. I'm so excited when it's time to make a meal. I've just been very creative. I don't miss a lot of the things that I used to eat. I have not, and I've even done an event this weekend just passed. I did a tea wellness seminar for 35 ladies, and they, all I did was just the setup for the tea part. But the client got sandwiches and a whole lot of desserts and scones and all these things, beautiful setup, which last year, by the way, I did eat it. But when I went on Saturday, as good as it looked, I did not eat any of that because, one, I didn't know what was in it, so I didn't want to take the chance. And I wasn't even tempted to eat any of the scones or any of those sweets. I looked at it and said, okay, but I just no desire to eat it because I know it's not healthy for me. So it really takes determination and focus and, just thinking about my health, that I want to live a long time. And I know everything. I know sometimes people say, oh, it's a special occasion here, it's a special occasion there. But, to me, that's just, for me personally, again, it might be excessive but I am happy with that. And I'm not going to feel bad, because other people are partaking of it.
Right.
So
yeah.
So you choose your battles, but I'm choosing mine to try to stay as healthy as I can, and and I'm feeling good and not going to apologize for it.
Well, that's great, and I think people have to do these things the way they feel comfortable. And for some people, it could just be, I'm just going to dive into this. And for others, it could be, well, I'm just going to take it a little at a time. It really has to fit you and your personality and what works for you. So
yes,
that makes a lot of sense for you to decide, well, if I'm around different foods and events and things, then you have to make your decision as to what you think is the best thing to stay on track. Yeah, that makes sense to do. And it can be really challenging, as we all know, when you're trying to change something, particularly what you're eating, and you're used to doing things a certain way, or used to grabbing something out or whatever, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I have to be mindful about what I'm putting in my mouth, and it's probably going to take.
Yes, and I've been walking around where I've got this cute little lunch kit that I just take stuff and put it in my car because, it saves me time, because when I go into the stores, a lot of them have because I don't do anything processed and I don't do canned. So most of the food out there, it's a lot of processed or a lot of stuff that's in there that for me is just not healthy. So I always make sure I keep food and water and all of those things extra with me, just so that I won't have to stress myself out, being outside and getting hungry.
Right.
So it's a lot more work, but for me, it's worth it. My priority is my health. So
yes,
I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yes, and that's it. That is the most important thing. But Sharon, can you please share with everyone where they can find you and your website and all that good stuff?
Yes. So it's Taking Tea in Style, and that's www.takingteainstyle.com. And my phone number is 844-LUX-TEA.
And they can also find the links for your social media and everything on your website, right?
Yes, they can. They definitely can. And some of the new things that I'm doing now is I'm actually going around to churches and women organizations and schools and talking about my journey, have optimum health, which is a lifetime journey. And I'm doing these talks as well as doing some cooking classes so people can see how easy it is to eat healthier. So if anybody's interested, they can always just give me a call and find out more information about that as well.
So we were talking, before the show about you making transitions in your business. So right now, it sounds like you're repositioning what you're doing to line up with everything going on in your life.
Yes, I am. I figured it is more my purpose now, because like I mentioned before when we started, that about 2 months before I was diagnosed, I was kind of, talking with God, saying, God, where do you want me to be with this business? And I just felt like the tea wellness was really what I was enjoying doing, is telling people about health. And then here it is, bam, I got, diagnosed with this cancer thing. And I was like, I guess maybe I really am supposed to be doing things about health. And so I am psyched about it. I'm passionate about it, not just for my health, but also just inspiring people to let them know, it might seem tough, but, we're all in it to live a healthy, happy, and successful life. So I am there for people if they need help, if they need encouragement, if they need to hear the story, whatever it is that they need. I want to be able to inspire people, teach people with all the information that I've learned between October and now. I have so much knowledge, and tell you, knowledge is power. Sure. So just taking everything I've learned and trying to go to a next level with the whole healthy entrepreneurship life.
Mm-hmm. And you're also going to be giving these presentations, and you've already been doing things like that people can check with you. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing some workshops on it, and I also just started last week. It's called Optimum Health, a Lifestyle Journey Facebook group. So what I'm doing is every Monday at 1 o'clock, for now it's 1 o'clock, that I will be, presenting a new healthy habit. And this is a lifetime journey. I'm not going to just, do a 10-week challenge. It's really a lifetime challenge that I'm starting every week by implementing these healthy habits as well as eliminating, unhealthy habits so that we can work each week towards our goals of having optimum health. And so I'm just trying to make it very interesting and very interactive so that people can post, they can ask questions. Each week I'll be starting something. Like last week we started with spiritual health. This week we're on adding new, water into your daily life. And I've kind of given examples of you can infuse your water with various different things. So I kind of send different tips and also scriptures and things that can encourage and motivate people. So I've had other people sending information as well. So it's not just my thing. This is our thing in terms of getting our health on track. So it's just for information, fun, sharing, encouragement, and just getting people psyched about health.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's certainly what people need more of. That's for sure.
Yes. It's unfortunately that I think for some people, when you say health, nobody wants to really talk about their health. It's not the hottest topic out there, even though more people are getting into it. I still feel like it's not a priority. I think because maybe because people just take it for granted and they're so, because you don't feel sick, so you don't think of it, so I'm just trying to make it be something that's hip, something that, this is something that's urgent. I'm trying to really let people see the urgency because there's so many more, Deborah, and I don't know if you've noticed that there's so many urgent cares that have just popped up, I would say, over the last year or two. And so that tells me how sick we are as a country. If you have so many of these hospitals and emergency cares opening up, like I've seen so many in just where I am in Mercer County, and it's kind of scary when you see so many opening up and hearing about so many people getting sick and passing, and it's just constantly. So, that's, I guess, where I just feel like health has to be urgent for people at some point, hopefully that they'll see that it's something they need to make a change.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of people are focusing more on that and their health and their peace of mind. And there's just probably a lot of churn going on right now, particularly with certain powers that be that seem not to want to have health care for the citizens of this country. But that's a whole other topic, and some people who seem to be deliberately inviting disease because they think, I'm not sure what they think, but like I said, that's yet another topic of some people's mindset. But there's a lot of churn and there's a lot going on, and it's certainly in terms of people mentally and emotionally does manifest in the body as well. And that's something people need to be aware of, that all of that really is connected. And you really have to protect yourself in those other ways as well.
Yeah. Matter of fact, a friend of mine had sent me a book, and the book was talking about, us causing a lot of these diseases from trauma, from unforgivingness, from just, holding things in. A lot of that people have to also start assessing, because I think some of it is true. Because my friend, when she asked me, she said, well, have you had any trauma? And I'm like, no, I haven't had anything happen to me. And then when I really look back, I was like, wait a minute. As I'm sitting there talking, I'm like, you know what? Well, this did happen to me. That was very traumatic. And then I'm like, oh, this also happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So see, people really either forget or they kind of bury things. And then when you really sit and assess it, that's when you're like, oh, so maybe I was festering these feelings, or, if you didn't, and that's the thing I said last week for the spiritual part of it. I said, if there are people that did you wrong, call them up and forgive them. Or maybe there's somebody that you did something wrong, call them up and ask for forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are very important, because if you're festering that within your heart and your soul,
Mm-hmm.
it can eat away at you as well. So these are things that are so important for people to really start looking at and thinking about, which a lot of us, I think we don't, because one, we're too busy,
Mm-hmm.
but all those things need to be released from our mind and our soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think in the Western culture particularly, there's a belief that all those things are separate, because people are conditioned to believe that, I guess, or there's so much reliance on just the Western ways of looking at health in the body as being totally separate from everything else, which is not true at all.
Not at all. Far from it. Far from it.
It really isn't. A lot of other cultures realize that, and they act accordingly. And a lot of times there's a lot of longevity in those cultures, or people who aren't in always such a mental and emotional state of upheaval, because they just have a different way of looking at life. Not to saying that everything is always perfect, but that they know how to really deal with life and the challenges that come along. And everything isn't always about working 100 hours a day and trying to get somewhere and then you fall out one day. It's a different, it's a different mindset.
It is.
And I think that's something that we need to, particularly if you're an entrepreneur, you really have to think about that, because you can't really prosper if you're running yourself ragged, and then what have you got?
That's true. It's total mind, body, and spirit. You got to take time for family. You got to take time for self. You got to take time for God. You got to take time for your health. There's so many aspects of it that we're not, really enjoying our whole self, the whole being.
Yes.
We really need to start, doing that much more as an entrepreneur, especially.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't realize that they're not enjoying the thing that they rolling up their sleeves and doing, because they're always working, or they're always running, and or they're always trying to get more because they feel like they don't have enough, because they looked at someone else doing something and figure, oh, I got to do what they're doing. And then what did you do it all for? What are you trying to get to?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something that we have to ask ourselves. And also, I have a meditation app on my phone, which I use all the time, which I think is really helpful to do. You do that in the morning or the evening or whenever you need it. And it does make a difference. It's something that you may not see right away. You may think, oh, you're looking for something to happen because you meditated, but it has an effect on you that you may not even realize it's happening until you may feel a certain calm, or something is going to tell you that something is changing within you. So I really believe that those kinds of things are so important for people, particularly when everything's going haywire, it seems.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can really take care of yourself, or should.
Yes, for sure.
You really should
That's
take care of yourself.
why I tell people now. Yeah. No, I tell people that, when they're drinking their tea, they really want to take time. They want to put it in a nice china teacup, something that fits their personality for the day. And it could be in the morning, the evening, or the afternoon, because everybody doesn't start out with tea. But, I tell them that when you do it, it's not like drinking coffee. You want to take your time. You want to sip it. You want to smell the aroma. You want to just, let it go down slowly, enjoy the warmth of it, and then go deep within, find out what your purpose is, and just be thankful and be, grateful for everything that's going on and for people that's in your life. But most importantly, also be grateful to yourself. A lot of times we don't thank ourselves or we're not grateful about, who we are and what we have to offer as well. So being positive is also very important in our health.
Mm-hmm.
That mental, there's so much mental illness going on too.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to really reinforce and be positive with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes, really. And just kind of address all those factors that may be going on in your life and see how you can take care of yourself and what you need in order for you to get the things done that you want to do. And
right.
Not run yourself ragged to try to get to something, and then you end up in a state that you can't even really enjoy what you've been working for, because you just
right. That's so true.
Yeah, it really
so
is.
True, Deb.
I certainly see that in my day job right now, where I'm doing technical writing, and just the atmosphere of the place is like what I left before. It's just not the kind of balance that is necessary, but I feel that a lot of people there who are either ambitious or think they have to do all this in a certain way, they don't realize that it does take a toll on your body. No matter how young you are, it's going to take a toll on you in some way. And you really have to stop and think about what's important to you. And that's something that we know because we have been in those environments.
Right.
So having that, I look at it now and I have a totally different viewpoint about it than I did at the time. Yeah. I just look at it and go, this isn't good. I know better now.
I know.
I really do.
Yeah.
Not the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, Sharon, I don't want to keep you too long because we're recording this in the evening. I know you've got to get your health, you exercise.
Yep, that's right.
You got to make
it's
sure that
time for bed.
Right. Make sure that you stick to what we're talking about. We don't want to not have you stick to that of those ideals and practices that you're doing now that are just so helpful for you. But before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to leave the listeners, or any other things that you feel that you didn't mention before?
Well, just to wrap up is love yourself. Tell yourself how important you are. Prioritize your health, because your health is the most important thing. Without health, we cannot work. Health is your wealth. And so that's really my motivation and inspiration for this evening.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Those are perfect words of wisdom for everybody to take in and really apply to their own lives. And also, if there's anybody who may have a chronic illness or something that they're dealing with right now, to understand that they're not alone, that other people are also may have challenges and things, but there is a way to continue and also to do the things that you feel that you want to bring into the world as well. So that's a message for everyone, I think. So I really thank you so much for returning to the show, Sharon. And
thanks for having me. Always love to talk with you.
So I'm sure you will come back again and continue to give us updates on what you're doing and the new things you're coming up with as you make different transformations in yourself and in your business. So I want to thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
You're so welcome. So everyone, I know you enjoyed this show and I know you got a lot out of it. Make sure you visit Sharon's site and check out everything that she's doing and see how you can also learn about how you can apply some of these things to your life. And also, if you're interested in having Sharon come to one of your meetings or events or something, there's also information. You can get in touch with her. So I really hope that you will do that. So once again, it's been Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Bye. Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on facebook.com/women entrepreneurs and on the website womenentrepreneursecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.polymatic.com and on iTunes.